one of Power Comedy's favorite comics. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Frey!
Hello, everyone. I wanted to tell you about my favorite brand of books, and those would be the For Dummies books. When I was about 10 years old, this was in the late 90s, I attended a computer camp. And the main thing that we did at that computer camp was learn HTML, in other words, build websites. Today, the computers do that themselves, so I'm pretty sure the camp's out of business. But at any rate, in furtherance of this task, I wanted to acquire an HTML for Dummies book. So one day after computer camp, I went to my mother and said, "Hey, Mommy, can we go to Office Depot to buy HTML for Dummies?" Well, we arrived at Office Depot, and to my great surprise, we had reached the Library of Alexandria for Dummies. There were so many titles of For Dummies books there, it was astounding. After having viewed all these titles as a 10-year-old boy, I can tell you that I didn't want to leave with HTML for Dummies. I would have much rather have left with Sex for Dummies. I so would have liked to have leafed through the pages of that book, looked at all the pictures, and read everything there was to know about that subject, and given that I was a dummy at that time, being 10 years old. Yeah, I would have been, I'm so happy to leave there with that book, but alas, I was a 10-year-old boy with my mother, so that was not a possibility. Anyways, I brought the HTML for Dummies books to the computer camp the next day, and there was a pupil there by the name of Josh who took one look at the book and said, "HTML for Dummies? Who would ever buy a book for dummies? You must be a dummy." Anyways, it wound up that the joke was on Josh, and he was probably the dumbest kid at the entire camp. One of the tasks was to start our first email account, and he went to hotmail.com, M-A-L-E. And the entire camp, all these impressionable young children at the camp were privileged to a very premature sex education. I'm pretty sure Josh is working at Boeing these days. So back when I was a kid, I got to look forward to computer camp. These days I work at Fred Meyer's, so I get to enjoy and look forward to a large influx of very rude tourists every summer. Luckily, Fred Meyer's has stocked cash register number 9 with a very useful book. And that book is Modern Etiquette for Dummies. I would be very happy if I could recommend to every tourist that comes to Fred Meyer's that they should read this book. If they ever decide to publish the book Criminal Masterminds for Dummies, I would really like to write the chapter on embezzlement. I would recommend to the reader that they should obtain employment at a company that was named after a first and last name, much like my employer. Another good example would be Jackson Hewitt. I would instruct the reader to change their original legal name to the name of their employer. That way, every time a little old lady comes in and writes a check to their employer, they can take that check to the bank and deposit it in their own bank account. Y'all should try that. So this would never work at Walmart. No one is ever going to believe your name is Walmart. The pinnacle of this fraud is to obtain a job at Johns Hopkins. They get a lot of big checks. So if any one of you who has already heard this scheme before Criminal Masterminds for Dummies came out, manages to get a job at Johns Hopkins, you have made it.